Hi guys, for today's trade of the day, we'll be looking at the euro dollar. And why I chose the euro dollar is because later on today, we will actually be having some important dollar news coming up, export and price index, and even later on in the evening, right? We will probably also see things like core retail sales. So it makes sense to look at the euro dollar, one of the most commonly traded pairs, one of the majors. And how I usually do my analysis is I start off with a top down approach, meaning that I start off with the longest time frame and work my way down to the 4 hour and even the 1 hour. And on each time frame, what I like to do is to look for long term support and long term resistances level. Right. So now looking at the euro dollar on the monthly, what we want to do is focus on current prices. Now, in technical analysis, it's important to understand what has happened in the past, but it is the current prices that tell us whether price will move higher or price will move lower. Right. So offhand, we see that graphically there's some sort of support level here, this area where price actually tapped once, twice, third time, and even came on a fourth time. And we can confirm that this is a strong graphical support level, also through the means of using Fibonacci. Now, Fibonacci, we can take an extension because price made a push down and then pull back before making another push down. We want to see how far price can go, right? So we'll take a Fibonacci extension too. This will be our first point, to the second point, and to the third point. And we see that the 61.8 actually falls in line with the graphical support, right? If price were to break this graphical support, if price were to break this graphical support, we can say with greater certainty that price will push even lower. Okay, so this is our long-term support. And in terms of resistance, this can be our resistance level, this swing high here, because it's the recent high. And at the same time, we have to take a retracement from the swing high here all the way down to the low. We see that this falls in line nicely with the 61.8 Fibonacci key retracement level. So let's call this our long-term resistance. Now that we have long-term resistance and long-term support, let's go down to the weekly. Once again, we want to focus on the more recent prices, and we see that price has actually been making a downtrend, right? Prices have been downward trending, making lower highs. Okay, so we focus on the more recent area, and we just want to see now that price has already actually pushed downwards here, and price seems to be quite close to our long-term support. We can, for now, ignore our weekly support. We want to see how far price can actually retrace upwards. So we take a retracement from this swing high to the swing low here. We open up our Fibonacci ratios and find the ratio level that fits nicely with a graphical level. And we see over here that the 38.2% retracement level falls nicely with a graphical level where price forms some sort of doji here and price rejected off this level quite strongly. So let's put our weekly resistance at this level. We put our weekly resistance. And we just highlight this level, the 38. And as for the weekly support, what we can do is we can actually take a retracement of this swing high, swing low to this swing high and open up all Fibonacci ratios. And we see that price actually came close to the 88 retracement level. So we can highlight that retracement level as well. For this, our weekly support. And we'll leave the 88 retracement level there. So now that we have our weekly resistance, weekly support, let's go down to the daily. Now, same thing on the daily, we want to focus on the more recent prices, this sort of a zigzag that market has been doing. Because the long-term resistance is quite far away, we can ignore it for now. And let me tidy up this chart so it's easier to see for you guys. Now that we have our weekly support, our long-term support, and our weekly resistance, and that now we are on our daily, we want to look for the daily support and daily resistance. And graphically, we see that price has sort of made a push up, pull back, and it seems to be making another push up. And the last high was actually at this level, so we can put our daily resistance at that level. So this will be our daily resistance, and what we can do is we can confirm it with Fibonacci retracement and extension. A retracement we'll take from this swing high to the swing low here. We open all the Fibonacci ratios, and we see that it falls quite close, in fact very close to the key Fibonacci ratio of 61.8. We can take a zigzag extension from the swing low to this recent high and back down to this low. And we can open up all the Fibonacci ratios as well. And we see that this level, let me just zoom in so it's easier for you guys to see, falls quite close to the 78.6. So our daily resistance is actually at a very strong level. And daily support, just by eyeballing the chart, we can consider this as our daily support because it was the last swing low. We can confirm that this also is a strong level by using Fibonacci retracement. Open up all the Fibonacci ratios, and we see that the daily support falls quite close to the 76.40 retracement level. So now that we have our weekly resistance, daily support, weekly support, long-term support, let's go down to the 4 hours to look for a profitable trading strategy. Now, recall, price has already made a push down and bounced off the daily support. The momentum should carry it up at least to the daily resistance. And if price were to surpass the daily resistance, we'll see a further push towards this weekly resistance level. So now we move on to the 4 hours. Bear with me as I tidy up the chart. Because the long-term support is quite far away, we can remove it as well. We just want to focus on the more recent prices. Okay, so this is what we have on the euro dollar. Now, if we were to look at the euro dollar, in the recent times, since the start of April, prices has been on an uptrend. And how do I know price has been on an uptrend? After making a series of lower lows, right, and making a final low here, prices started making a series of higher lows. Same thing for this area, starting from here. Price made lower lows, and then it made the same low, and then it started making higher lows as well. So with that, we can actually draw a trend line. From this spike here, we can draw a trend line. And because it's a support, it's an ascending support trend line, we'll use a dotted line to show that it's an ascending support trend line. Okay, so price has been making sort of a push up, right? pullback, push up, and then a pullback, and now another push up. We can expect a small pullback before making one more push to the daily resistance. So how would I trade this? What I'll do is I would actually use this level at the 1.09058 as my pivot. Right, and I'll actually enter anywhere above the pivot and I'll play towards the daily resistance. Now, if price were to break below my pivot, it would mean that price has also broken below this ascending trend line ascending trend line support. What this means is that my bullish idea is invalidated and I should expect price to make a push down towards the daily support. So my main idea is a bullish push, right? The pivot is also otherwise known as the stop loss. And I'll have my entry anywhere here. And then my daily resistance as my first take profit, my TP, my number one TP. Now, when price actually finally pushes up to the daily resistance, I will close out 50% of my position and I will move my pivot to where I entered. And then once that is done, I will leave the remaining 50% of the trade to push up towards my second take profit. Okay, this will be my second TP, number 2 TP. So let me just refresh again. I can do a buy entry anywhere here with my pivot and stop loss here, and I can play up towards my first take profit. Now, once price has reached my first take profit, I'll take a partial profit. I'll close out 50% of my position, move my stop loss up here so my position is protected, and then let the rest of the remaining 50% of my position ride all the way up to the second take profit. That's the trade idea that we have for today on the euro dollar. Hope that this has been a helpful one for you all. Thank you.